Street raised, I was brought up where the G stayed. Peep game, those who didn't catch one to your brain. Stay in your lane, never wolfed it, boy, I never fake. Watch them break, watch them fall, still I remain. Never change, never try to come and rearrange. Never hate, never tripping on somebody's plate. That shit is lame, leave that type of shit for the dames. The streets don't play, they'll catch up, watch your life as capes. One game, homie, that you shouldn't play. There's real soldiers in the streets gunning every day. This shit is normal in the vital part of every day. It ain't great, but I'm loyal, so I'll never change. I keep repeating, but I mean it, never lose your way. Heed the warning and the missing just for talking brave. Fuck my enemies, two faces and all the snakes. Now for this matter, just name the time and name the place. We'll get it active, fuck the gap, and I'm in face to face. Real gangsters never fold, then we never shake. I was brought up to be ruthless and that never.
You are now watching M.O.D Entertainment.
What's good, G Life? This right here is LA County. And we'll be now heading towards the section that is known as Boyle Heights, which is located on the east side. Not to be confused with East LA, the east side of LA. Boyle Heights is an area that is very infamous for, several neighborhoods, you know what I mean, that people recognize, like the White Fins gang, like the Primeras, Cuatro Flats, and, gangs like those that are old neighborhoods, well known, well documented, well respected neighborhoods within this area. But you also have a bunch of other smaller gangs within the area that handle business. And since today we will be covering all criminal neighborhoods, and this one I'm gonna have to do in about about maybe 3 to 4 videos, because there's that many criminal neighborhoods. So before anybody says you forgot this neighborhood, you forgot that neighborhood, it's gonna be done in several parts. But the first neighborhood we'll be covering when it comes to the criminal gangs is the MC Ford's gang, the MC Forceros, MCF. MC Ford, standing for Michigan Avenue Criminal Force or Chicano Force. You know what I mean? They use either one. Either one is could be used. I have seen it up in both ways. So both titles are accurate. You know what I mean? You do tend to see the criminal one a little bit more than the Chicano one. So it is a criminal neighborhood. Michigan Avenue Criminal Force. MC Forceros is an average-sized neighborhood right here in the war zone, homie. With neighborhoods all around them, you know what I mean? Because right here you got the Evergreens, you got the Breed Streets, you got the Cam neighborhood, you have the Evergreens. You just have everybody right here, you know what I mean? Like all over, no breathing room. This is, one of the motherlands of gangbanging right here. But the MC Force gangs is an average-sized neighborhood, even though, there's so many different neighborhoods around. These neighborhoods somehow manage to get to a decent size, with more than 100 members to their neighborhood. This neighborhood is also a neighborhood that you've seen in the cameo of American Me. They also have a documentary within that movie, if you buy it, where you have them like a little small documentary of the MC Forceros. MC4 gang. Now they're not as old as some of these other varrios within the area, you know what I mean? Neighborhood dating back to the 70s, and these other neighborhoods around these areas, dating back to the 20s, 30s, and 40s. They're not as old as some of these other varrios, but don't get it twisted. The MC Forceros handle business, you know what I mean? They continue to be up. They continue to represent for theirs within the area of what's First Street to Soto to Cesar Chavez to Evergreen. Within that area, that is considered their barrio. And obviously, on Michigan Avenue is the heart of their hood, their dojo, their domain. As a matter of fact, you see a cameo of it when in the movie Blood In, Blood Out, when El Gallo Negro and Miklo are walking down that alley, and he knocks his hat down and he starts chasing him. That's right there in Michigan Avenue, around their territory. So people are familiar within the area. If you look at that wall, as a matter of fact, in that movie, it has a big old Michigan Avenue tagged up in that scene. But this is the MC Forceros neighborhood. They continue to still represent for theirs and hold it down. I got homies out of here. Shout out to the homie Villain. Shout out to Yogi. Shout out to all the homies from MC4 gang that be holding it down right there, representing for theirs. Another barrio that you have right here in Los Angeles, but this time as we're heading towards the south central portion of Los Angeles. Obviously, South Central being a notorious area that's full of a bunch of barrios, you know what I mean? Not only Hispanic, but blacks. And this neighborhood right here is in the midst of the danger zone, where you have Cribs and Bloods and other Hispanic neighborhoods like the Harpies, like the Street Villains, you know, like everybody just right there, homie. Right there is just, it's jambalaya, my boy. You know what I mean? It's where you get everybody and anybody and their mother right there. You have the barrio ATC. ATC being another one of these crews that became a barrio that's a criminal gang, because their barrio stands for Alley Tiny Criminals. Alley Tiny Criminals is the name that they use now. Before, it stood for several stuff when they were a crew, but when they transitioned to a neighborhood, this is what their barrio stands for. You know, that's the only thing the neighborhood stands for. And they be representing right here in Kings Park is where you can find them. That's their domain, their dojo. Shit, it's even a clica of theirs. You know what I mean? Kings Park is where they conduct themselves throughout those back streets in the 40s, 39s and all of that, is where you can find this barrio doing their thing, still representing, holding it down. Their average size barrio. And they still keep representing for the Alley Tiny Criminals right there. Now, right here in Los Angeles, the west side of Los Angeles is another area where we could find another one of these neighborhoods that are criminals. This one being roughly a small neighborhood. You hardly see it up now, but they were a real neighborhood that was, there doing their thing. Yeah, they still have some members floating around. You know what I mean? Don't count them out for the count. But they, like I said, this was never a big, barrio in a sense. They used to be a crew, which is the MLK, standing for Maryland Criminals. Now, the Maryland Criminals were a crew that became a barrio. Like I said, they were always roughly small neighborhood. I was told that they're roughly about 26, 27 members, no more than that. They used to do their thing right there. But, with a bunch of neighborhoods just around, and just makes recruitment a lot difficult. You roughly don't see them up as you do some of these other sets. But nonetheless, it's a real neighborhood, right there, that was representing for theirs. You know what I mean? Because they still do have some members, you do see, the hit-ups by them and etc. right here in the west of LA, right here on Maryland. Obviously, that's the street that they're named after, their main domain, their dojo. And they still put it down right there for the Maryland Criminals. And this right here is Orange County. Orange County, another area notorious, for having a bunch of sets around, you know what I mean? And this area also home to a few criminal neighborhoods. You do get a lot of, barrios right here. And obviously, criminal being, one of the names that's, commonly used. Of course, you're going to get barrios that, use the moniker criminals. Now, in the city of Orange, you have, very few barrios within this area, but you do get some, you know what I mean? Like Barrio Lemon or Barrio Orange Cypress Avenue, you know what I mean? Or you got the Cherry Street or, 21st Street or whatever. But one of the most known neighborhoods within this area, notorious neighborhood within this area, is the Barrio OCC. Barrio OCC is translating to Orange County Criminals. That's with a C, not with a K. I seen people try to say that it's with a K. It's not with a K. It's with a C. It's criminals with a C, not with a K. I don't know where they got that idea from. But anywho, it is the OCC. That's what it stands for. No, it is not a tagging crew like I was seeing some people put. It is a real barrio, a legit barrio that does real things. These guys are with the business. You hear about their barrio, you know what I mean? These guys ain't no suckers, homie. These guys are about to, they're about to work. And you can find their barrio right there on Tustin Street and Catella Avenue. And from Tustin Avenue, Catella, I would say to Collins Avenue. From Collins Avenue, I would have to say that their barrio still extends all the way to Costa Mesa, the freeway right there. So everything that's in the middle is considered their barrio. So throughout, Wilson Avenue, throughout, Adam Avenue, throughout that whole entire area, you know what I mean? Throughout Highland Street, Monroe, all of that is what's considered as the OCC's neighborhood. Don't get it twisted. I know people, get this idea about Orange County or the city of Orange, like, my boy, you come over here thinking that you could just talk to these guys however you want or whatever. Like, I mean, my boy, you're gonna find out the hard way. These guys are not playing. You know, the criminals neighborhood is with the business, and their color is the burgundy-ish color, like the reddish burgundy-ish color. That's the color that they use. That's the color they rock. You know what I mean? Like I said, Sureño barrios use different colors. Not everyone's, you know, blue. Obviously, we're all Southsiders, Sureños, and etc. But, you know, certain neighborhoods have their own, you know, color to their barrio. You know what I'm saying? It's perfectly normal, you know, like, well, we're used to it, you know. But I do see that other people try to say that it's not true, you know what I mean? Yeah, you know, so these guys, you know, use the burgundy color. And like I said, they with the business, homie. The OCC neighborhood has been doing it right here for a cool minute. One of the recognized barrios within this area, and still putting it down for that Orange County criminals gang representing. Now, another barrio that you have right here in the OC, since we're already maintaining ourselves in the OC, we might as well continue right here with another barrio that's within Orange County that is also a criminal neighborhood. You know what I mean? A real neighborhood, legitly, because I do, you know, like I said, you know, I do scope out how some individuals try to say, you know, certain things, you know, that are not true. You know, like spreading false propaganda about, you know, certain barrios and clicas. You have the barrio KPC. The barrio KPC used to be a tank crew that became a neighborhood. There were tag bangers that became a barrio and legitly did become a barrio. You know what I mean? Obviously, the haters are gonna hate. You know, we don't fall for the false propaganda that they be pitching and stuff like that. You know, of course, their enemies are always gonna talk on them. But this is a real legit barrio. That's, you know, they with the business, homie. These vatos ain't playing. The KPC, not only right here in Orange County, but they have, you know, clicas like in San Diego. You know, that's roughly pretty large as well. So this was one of these tag bang crews that's been around for a long time already. That was an old school tag bang crew. That was a large one, and they spread like wildfire. You know what I mean? Because they do have clicas in different locations. So these guys did, you know, they got around, homie. You know what I mean? They do have members to them, so they're an average size barrio, you know. But for it being a tag bang crew that transition, you know, is larger than most, you know, in that sense. And their barrio is everything right here. That's from 17th Street all the way to Flower Street. From Flower Street all the way to Civic Center Drive. Civic Center Drive, I will have to say, their barrio still stretches all the way to French Street and back to 17th. So everything that's in the middle is considered their barrio. So throughout Maine, throughout Washington, obviously throughout Broadway and 15th Street being their main domain, their dojo, the heart of the hood. That's where it really be going down, close to the school that's right there. You know, that's where you can find them. So everything that's right there in the middle is what's considered their barrio. 15th Street, obviously, you know, you see it hit up, you see it, you know, tattooed on them and etc. But the name of the barrio is the Crazy Proud Criminals. Is how, you know, is what this neighborhood stands for. 15th Street, Malos. Obviously, you know, the Malos gang, Los Malosos. Yeah, but they be holding it down right there in 15 and putting it down for that Crazy Proud Criminals and still representing. Another area right here, now we would have to be making our way to the San Fernando Valley. Now, as we make our way right here to the San Fernando Valley, this is an area where you can find one of these criminal neighborhoods. And for that, we would have to be traveling to the city of Pacoima. The city of Pacoima is home to one of these criminal neighborhoods. And the barrio is called Barrio Pacoima Criminals. The PCS, so not to be confused with, you know, the short term for Pacas. I've seen that people try to say that that's what it refers to. It does not. It stands for Pacoima Criminals. Although the Pacoima Criminals used to be a part of the Pacoima Treses, that they separated, they went their separate ways. You know, for whatever reasons, you know, they just didn't see eye to eye. They went to go do their own thing, solo bolo. And the Criminals neighborhood is one of the more, you know, newer clicas from the Pacoima sets. They haven't been around as, you know, as long as like the Treses or the Flats or the Lannatines and stuff like that. You know, and they were roughly more of a smaller clica of Pacoima. That is until they recruited several different crews into their neighborhood, like the RCMs and the ISKs. You know, that's why you see all three of them together. You know, they all, you know, got together to, you know, be a part of the Pacoima's Criminals. So it's made out of, you know, those three sets. It's what makes this barrio. And their neighborhood is everything that's from Van Nuys Boulevard to Herrick, Herrick to Paxton, Paxton to Borden, everything through the middle of Glen Oaks, you know, and Fillmore and all of that. It's what's considered their barrio, a decent sized chunk of territory. The criminals gang, like I said, are active. You do see them up right here in the danger zone. You can see so many neighborhoods around. And like I said, not all the Pacoima sets get along with each other. They do have beef with several of the Pacoima sets. So it's not, you know, smooth sailing like people think. You know, it goes on right here entre las clicas. The only thing that they share in common is that they're from the same city. They all represent the city of Pacoima, but that's about it. After that, it's just warfare. You know what I mean? So don't get it twisted. But the criminals still maintain right here, still representing for theirs.
For watching M.O.D Entertainment, make sure you like and subscribe.